Mrs. F didn't say a whole lot as she drove me to my dorm, but she made me promise to go by the infirmary and get some cold packs for my swollen wrist. I called my mama to tell her what happened, and she said she'll file a complaint first thing in the morning, but I doubt it'll do any good. Frankly, I'm not sure what to feel. Never thought I'd be in this kind of situation. There was this kid, Shamar Carson, black dude, my age, shot and killed in Nevada by this white cop back in June. The details are hazy since there weren't any witnesses, but what's clear is that this cop shot an unarmed kid 4 times. Even fishier, according to the medical examiners, there was a 2-hour gap between the estimated time of death and when the cop called it in. Before the incident last night, I hadn't really thought much about it. There's a lot of conflicting information, so it's hard to know what to believe. Shamar's family and friends say he was a good dude, headed to college, active in his youth group, but the cops claim he caught Shamar trying to steal a car. A scuffle ensued, allegedly, and according to the police report, Shamar tried to grab the cop's gun, so the cop shot Shamar in self-defense. I don't know. I've seen some pictures of Shamar Carson, and he did have kind of a thuggish appearance, in a way. I guess I thought I didn't really need to concern myself with this type of thing because compared to him, I don't come across as threatening, you know? I don't sag my pants or wear my clothes super big. I go to a good school and have goals and a vision and a great head on my shoulders, as Mom likes to say. Yeah, I grew up in a rough area, but I know I'm a good dude, Martin. I thought if I made sure to make an upstanding member of society, I'd be exempt from the stuff those black guys deal with, you know? Real hard to swallow that I was wrong. All I can think now is how different would things have gone if I had not been a black guy. I know initially the cop could only go by what he saw, which probably did seem a little sketchy. But I've never had my character challenged like that before. Last night changed me. I don't want to walk around all pissed off and looking for problems, but I know I can't continue to pretend nothing's wrong. Yeah, there's no more colored water fountains, and it's supposed to be illegal to discriminate. But if I can be forced to sit on the concrete in 2 tight cuffs when I've done nothing wrong, it's clear there's an issue. That things aren't as equal as folks say they are. I need to pay more attention, Martin. Start really seeing stuff and writing it down. Figure out what to do with it. That's why I'm writing to you. You faced worse stuff than sitting in handcuffs for a few hours. But you stuck to your guns. Well, your lack therefor, actually. I want to try to live like you. Do what you would do. See where it gets me. My wrist is killing me, so I have to stop writing now, but thanks for hearing me out. Sincerely, Justice. Chapter 2, page 14. Justice drops down the plush leather sofa in Manny's basement and grabs the same controller from the giant ottoman in front of him. You good dog, Manny says, ferociously pressing buttons on his vibrating controller at the sound of the machine fire fills the room in surround sound. It pushes into Justice's ears and bounces around in his head. He can feel it pulsating in his chest. Bang, 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 bang. He goes, yeah, I'm good. So you playing or what? Manny's avatar switches weapons in quick succession, tossing everything he's got at the enemy troops. Grenade, boom. Glock 26, pop, pop, pop. Flamethrower, whoosh. Bazooka, floop, boom. 7-8 guns, just like the one Castillo kept his hand on while treating Just like a criminal. One wrong move, and Just might have been the next Shamar Carson. He shudders. Hey, mind if we play something a little less violent? Manny pauses the game, turns to his best friend. Sorry, Justice drops his head. Can't really handle the gunshots and stuff, man, right now. Manny reaches out to Justice's shoulder to give him a supportive squeeze, then pushes a few buttons to switch games. The new Madden, which doesn't even hit the shelves for another week. Justice shakes his head. If only he had his best friend's life. Must be nice having the VP of a major financial corporation for a dad. The guy chooses their respective teams. Manny wins the coin toss and elects to receive. He clears his throat. You want to talk about it? Justice sighs. You know, I'm like, here, if you do, right? Manny says, yeah, I know, Manny, I appreciate it. Just not sure what to say. Manny nods, puts a spin move on Justice's defensive lineman and gets the first down. Wrist feeling any better? Justice fights the urge to look at his arms. It's hard to see the bruises because his skin is such a deep brown. But even after a week, they're still there. Sometimes he thinks they'll never fade. Yeah, they're all right. Mel gave me this weird ointment from Norway. Smells like the Altoid-covered feet, but it's doing the trick. Manny's quarterback throws a deep pass, but it's short. Justice free safety intercepts. We got back together last night. Manny presses pause, turns to the boy. Doc, you are not serious right now. Justice reaches over and hits the triangle button on Manny's controller. Just QB tosses the ball to his running back, who is unguarded since Manny's stare is burning a hole in the side of Justice's face. The virtual player runs it for an easy touchdown. The kick is good. Manny pauses again. Just let it go, man. Let it go? That chick is the reason you sat in handcuffs for 3 hours. And you want me to let it go? Stop calling my girl a chick, Manny. Bro, you caught this girl wrist deep in another dude's pants. Hello. It's different this time. Justice starts the game again. His team kicks off, but Manny's players don't move because he's still gaping at Justice like he just confessed to murder. Hold up, Manny says, stopping the game and tossing the controller out of Justice's reach. So you mean to tell me after this girl sat there and watched this cop brutalize your butt, she was scared, man? Unbelievable, Just. Whatever, Just stares at the football frozen in the midair and the massive flat screen. Girls don't flock to Justice the way to Emmanuel Manny Rivers. Brass prep, basketball champion, captain, and one of the best looking guys Justice knows. There's a lot of stuff Manny has that Justice doesn't. 2 parents with 6-figure salaries, a basement apartment, a bad A car, crazy confidence. What does Just have? The hottest girl in school. I don't expect you to understand, Manny. You run through girls like underwear. Wouldn't know true love if it kicked you in the nuts. First of all, true love wouldn't kick me in the nuts, considering how many times Mel has fairly kicked you in yours. Shut up, man. Manny shakes his head. I hate to break it to you, homie, but you and Mel's relationship put the ick in toxic. That's some girly stuff you just said, dog. You know, my mom's a psychologist. You get codependency syndrome or something. You should really take a look at it. Thanks, Dr. Phil. I'm serious, Just. I can't even look at you right now. This thing you're doing, this always running back to Mellow thing, it's sickness, my friend. Should have even played the dang game, man. Just then, Manny's mom appears at the foot of the steps. Hi, Dr. Rivers, Justice said, giving her a hug. Hey, baby, you doing all right? Yes, ma'am. You sleeping over? Dinner will be ready in a few. Chicken catatori, she winks. Oh, you know my favorite. Dang, Ma, how come you never make my favorite? Don't ever, Emmanuel, and hush. Don't be mad because your mom likes me more than you, Manny. Shut up, fool. Dr. Rivera's cell phone rings. This is Tiffany Rivera. She says as she answers, still smiling at the boys. Doesn't last long. Whoever's on the other end of the phone, it's obvious from her expression that they're not bearing good news. She hangs up and puts her hand over her heart. Mom, everything okay? That was your aunt, she says. Your cousin's been arrested. Manny rolls his eyes. What'd he do this time? Dr. Rivera looks from Manny to Justice and back again. He's been charged with murder, she says. Manny's jaw dropped. They say he killed a police officer. Chapter 3. Justice had a lot on his mind as he steps into his societal evolution class on Tuesday. For one, yesterday's Nevada grand jury didn't return an indictment on the cop who killed Shamar Carson. Since being arrested, Justice has spent all of his free time following the case, and now it's just over. Speaking of cops and arrest, yesterday Justice also learned that the cop Manny's cousin confessed to shooting was none other than Thomas Costello. What Justice can't get over is that he knows Manny's cousin. His name is Quan Banks, and he lives in Justice's mom's neighborhood. Quan's a year younger than Justice, and they played together back when the only thing that mattered was staying outside until the streetlights came on. Like Justice, Quan tested into the Accelerated Learners program in 3rd grade, but when elementary school ended, Quan started running with a not-so-good crowd. When Quan found out that Justice was headed to Brass Prep, he mentioned a cousin who went there, but just never put 2 and 2 together, and now Quan's in jail. Justice can't stop thinking about it. Yeah, Castillo was an a-hole, but did he really deserve to die? And what about Quan? What if they give him the death penalty? What if Castillo had killed Just, though? Would he have been indicted? Come here for a second, Just, Doc says as Just drops his backpack on the floor and next to his seat. Doc Dre, is on the debate team advisor and Just's favorite teacher at Bass Prep. He's the only half-black guy Just knows with a PhD, and Just looks up to him. How you holding up, man, Doc says. Been better, Doc. Doc nods and narrows his green eyes. Figured as much. I want to let you know that today's discussion might hit a nerve. Feel free to sit it out. You can leave the room if need be. All right. Just then, Manny comes into the room with Jared Christian at his heels. Justice isn't really fond of Jared or any other of Manny's friends for that matter, but he knows that they've all been tight since kindergarten, so he tries to keep a lid on it. What's up, Doc? Jared crows as he crosses the room in his seat. Oh, God, Jared, sit down. Sit down somewhere. That would be Sarah Jane Friedman, lacrosse captain, future valedictorian, and Justice debate partner since sophomore year. Aw, SJ, I love you too, Jared says. SJ glares at him and pretends to shove a finger down her throat as she approaches the seat next to Justice's left. It makes him laugh. The rest of the class trickles in the moment the bell rings. Doc pushes the door shut and claps his hands to begin class. Morning, peeps, class. Multiple grunts, waves, and nods. Let's all get started, shall we? Discussion prompt of the day. He makes a few taps on his laptop, and the words, all men are created equal, appear on the classroom's digital checkboard. Who can tell me the origin of this statement? Jared, United States Declaration of Independence ratified July 4th, 1776. Smiles smugly and crosses his arms. Correct. 12 of the 13 colonies voted in favor of severing all ties to the British throne. The document known as the Declaration of Independence was written into being, and to this day, one of the most often quotes lines of said document that you will see on the board. Everyone nods. Now, when we use our 21st century minds to examine this quote within its historical context, something about it isn't quite right. Can anyone explain what I mean? And that's where we're going to end for day one.